Alex Leatherwood couldn't make it 1.1 seasons in the NFL before he was cut. The Raiders waived the former first-round pick earlier today on Wednesday. According to Ian Rappaport, they tried to trade him to everyone, got 32 no's.
They even said no to themselves.
Like, did they try to trade him to like the USFL, like to the entire league, like the entire USFL? They're like, anyone want him, and they all said no as well.
XFL is like, listen, no, we want good players on the XFL.
Obviously, Rappaport didn't have his calculator out, but this we all kind of, like, all of Raider Nation thought this could be a possibility the last 2 weeks or so.
But I was pounding the table for it.
You think like 6 or 7 months ago would have been unheard of. Like, I can't think of a first-round pick that got waived before his second year began, unless injury or trouble with the law. Like, just simply a first-round pick. You're like, nope, we'd rather eat that dead money than risk you having Derek Carr get decapitated. Like, not even like a third-string dude. Not even like a guy was like, all right, the cap is so hard. Let's see if we can develop him. Let's try. No, not even that. Gone. That's unheard of. Oh, wait. Because it's been like our reality the last few weeks, we've kind of made peace with it. But like, put yourself back 6 months ago. You're like, yeah, Leatherwood, they're going to waive him. You won't even make the 53. You're like,
I said it.
What?
I also said Abram too, but Abram doesn't have the fate of the quarterback of our team in his hands, and Leatherwood potentially does. So it's a little bit easier call on that. I said it from the beginning. Everyone's like, oh, he's doing great. He's working out. He's losing weight. He's this and that, blah, 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 all this other crap. Listen, man, I said it from then, and I would say it again. I have to see it on the field. And what I saw on the field was regression. He got worse than last year. Yeah. And he was getting beat cleanly by backups, by third-string guys. He was getting manhandled by guys a lot smaller than him. He was off balance. He still was grabby. He still was outside on everything. He showed really weak arms and weak hands. It looked like a guy who was in the band, and like, yeah, you're a big dude. You want to play football? Like, let's how you can play football. Their first practice, that's what Leatherwood looked like. His hands were all over the place. He was off balance. He was getting thrown on anywhere. Like I said earlier, I watched his tape on the last game, and he played almost the entire game. And there was 3 plays where he either didn't get beat cleanly or he didn't get thrown to the ground, manhandled. And it's just, you can't have that. It is unheard of to have a first rounder and it's not make it to his second year because of play, maybe because of injury or whatever, but because of play strictly because he was healthy last year. And that
was his one positive.
Our boy Sanjeet, man, I hate to call you out because you're my boy. You helped me out a lot. But he tweeted out, well, look at Colton Miller, look at these guys. Like he named a couple of guys, and I'm like, dude, most of these guys that you're naming were injured as rookies, and Dalvin Cook was injured his first 2 seasons before he was healthy. Leatherwood played every single game, and He got worse this year against inferior competition. Imagine with these third-string guys from Miami whooping his ass, he's going to go up against freaking Bosa and freaking Mack in the first week. You got to be kidding me, bro. And we're one step away from him being out there.
Mm-hmm. Complete regression. Everything that he worked on in the offseason, getting in better shape, working on his pass set, working on his footwork, working on his hands, it looked like he lost confidence immediately at right tackle at some point. And it's completely true. Like, everyone could see it. He was getting beaten every possible way. And there's no, they could have kept him because of the dead cap hit. They could have kept him as a backup right guard, but essentially you are taking away a roster spot from someone else that would improve the team more than Leatherwood would. So it was addition by subtraction. It just fucking hurts. It's another just epic, historical, it's one of the worst busts in NFL history, even though he was number 17 overall because of the return. It is such a terrible draft pick from beginning to end, and it's another wasted opportunity. It just sucks. It really sucks. Like,
Jamarcus Russell got a second season, right? Like, even he got a second season.
He got a third season, didn't he? After his third year was released?
I thought it was his second year he got let go.
I think it was his third year.
I don't remember. Look, anyway,
Tony Mandarich was a huge bust, right? He was the second pick overall. He was going to be the biggest. He's the best tackle ever on the cover of Sports Illustrated. he washed out as a tackle with Green Bay. But guess what? He had a nice career at guard with Indianapolis. He still came back and had a nice career. He wasn't as bad as Leatherwood. This is, hopefully, look, on a personal level, a team level first, I'm glad he's gone. Because he was a liability left and right. I don't trust him. And you can't win with a guy like that on your team. Number one. Okay. Personally, I hope maybe if he catches on somewhere else, hopefully through waivers, so we don't have to spend all that money. But if he catches on somewhere else where he can develop and learn, he doesn't have that pressure of being the first round pick of that specific team. He's been humbled. He doesn't have that kind of shine on him as being a first rounder. He can then develop and make some of that anxiety or whatever's keeping him from performing at his best. It'll help him in the future, hopefully for his sake. But man, he's set financially for life now. He for all accounts he tried, but goddamn, man.
So for this to happen, so for a bust of this magnitude to happen, it takes more than just sucking. He sucks, but it takes other things too. And I think if we were set at right tackle, like if we had a Colton Miller-ish guy at right tackle, I think the Raiders would have kept him. Just be like, all right, let's not bite the bullet. Let's see if we can develop him, right? Like let's not.
Yeah, if we were more solid across the
line, more solid. They're like, okay, we can afford to have a long-term project, which he clearly is. We can't. We're all hands on deck. We don't have a right tackle, so it's like we need everyone who could potentially be that guy needs to maybe be able to start in 11 days as of right this second, right? Which clearly Leatherwood can't, right? So he had that going against him. 2, new regime, right? There's no loyalty there, right? That's another part of the equation. I also feel like this is one of the big busts for me on Ziegler. Like this is, I think, Ziegler's and McDaniels' first big error. Like obviously they inherited a guy that's not good, right? But the other part is like, if you knew he wasn't the guy, if you knew you wanted to trade him, or you knew that like he can't play right tackle for you, why did you put him at his worst position? They should have had him play right guard all preseason, the best position, run a bunch of power. That was the one thing he did. He was a decent power run blocker. He was not bad at that.
He can move.
That was the one thing. Like he's physical specimen.
He got ragdolled, dude. He got ragdolled and run too.
At tackle, right?
No,
right guard,
I mean at tackle, but in the run game,
he's just. I think he's a head case because you don't technically get like your skills don't deteriorate like that. I think something's happening up here where he just felt uncomfortable, felt lost, and gave up. Like the problem's between the ears, which is why I think he might still be able to develop somewhere. I'm just like, do we still kind of keep him? Because this is the problem. It's not the physical. It's not, like the technique's bad, but the technique doesn't just disappear, right? You don't just forget how to ride a bike or like get worse at riding a bike the more you do it, unless something's happening up here. So I feel like Josh McDaniels, and this is what you want to do with a strong team, and that's what McDaniels has been talking about. We put guys in hard situations. We put you guys in positions where you're probably going to fail, and we want you to overcome that and be stronger from it. And that's what the type of players we want. It doesn't sound like that was Leatherwood, right? Crumbled. And so if you want to get value for him, a guy that has all the physical tools and was a first rounder, and you put him on the biggest stage you have available and put him in a position to fail. If you knew he wasn't the guy, you put him at right guard and put him in position to succeed so you can get something for him. So this is, yes, they were dealt a shit hand. Leatherwood, not the guy that Tom Cable and John Gruden and Mayock hope they drafted. Not a guy that fits culturally, so it seems, with this new regime. But they also handled him terribly poorly. Like they got nothing out of a first rounder that's not even in his second year. Zero, zilch, nada. And you're going to have to pay him and kill your dead cap. That is a failure on Ziegler's part.
Okay, here's the deal. Number one, he's not the only person you're evaluating at the time. Okay, so you do have to look at the rest of the team as well. You talk about running power the entire time. You're evaluating, you're showcasing other guys too. They played him a lot in the preseason. They gave him every opportunity to go out there and put something out there. Put something out there, and he shit the bed. This is all. You're
looking at it the wrong way.
No. I'm not looking at it the wrong way. I'm looking at it a different way. I'm looking at it a different way, not necessarily the wrong way.
Incorrectly.
They gave him. Okay, stop.
Piss poor way.
Okay, yeah, you're way the right way.
I actually agree with Soto on this one.
They gave him every opportunity to go out there and play against ones, against twos, and against threes, and he got shit on every single time he went out there. What else do you want to do for this guy besides?
You're looking at it wrong. We're not trying to do the
I'm
man
looking at it
a
wrong,
favor.
but go ahead.
We're not trying to do.
We are. We're trying.
No, we're not. No. We're not trying to do Alex Leatherwood, the human being, a favor. We're trying to get value out of an error in our past. That's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to make Alex Leatherwood look as good as possible so we can trade him and get something and try to eat some of that cap that
And we
have.
played him.
At a terrible position, at a position where he fails. Play him at right guard. Just enough. Put him in late against the 2s and the 3s. Get some good footage of him at right guard. And then try to get some value for him. Instead, they're like, all right, you're playing against 1s at right tackle, a position you're not good at.
And 2s and 3s.
For what it's worth, I don't
position
think they condemned him that early, RJ. I think they gave him every opportunity to show some form of improvement because they didn't want to eat this cap. They didn't want to cut this guy because they knew it was going to be bad press. They knew it was going to look shit. I think that they gave him every opportunity to be successful in practice and then in games. And, you know, they tried with right tackle. He didn't do it. They tried a right guard. He couldn't do it. And ultimately, on cut day, they made a tough decision. I don't think they were trying to shop him from the moment they got in. And if they would, obviously you're right. They would have put him at right guard and seen if he could do anything.
They made look, the results are the results. You have a first rounder, not even his second year. You got nothing for, and you're paying dead cap, right? A lot of it's not in your hands. But they made one of two errors. Either they didn't recognize that he couldn't make the squad early enough, or they did and they put him in a position to fail. One of those two things happened. That's the end result.
They put him in a position to succeed, and he
not
failed.
Right tackles.
And
He's
he
never
failed.
succeeded at right tackle.
They put him in the position to succeed, and he failed.
I agree.
Okay, and his failure is going to cost the Raiders. Again, like don't treat it as
Not
like
on the field.
it's not like, well, Leatherwood's wrong and Ziegler's right. Like I don't care about the right and wrong. Like, I don't care about like who morally has the high ground. I care about the results and the tangible value that it's going to cost us. Right? It's like, well, we gave him every opportunity and he failed himself. It's like, well, now the Raiders are paying for it. Like that's not what I care about. Like they did one of those two things wrong. Right? They had to know that it's a chess piece. It's not a human being.
I think they missed on the evaluation, and that happens. Ultimately, again, they wanted to see some form of improvement, and he did not improve. Saban and his coaching staff couldn't improve him. Cable, Gruden's coaching staff couldn't improve him. New coaching staff comes in this year, couldn't improve him. At which point, you cut your losses and you're gone. That's ultimately what it came down to.
I'm just saying, make sure that like there's Ziegler and McDaniels share some of this disaster, and it is a disaster. They share some. What percentage? We can have that argument another day, right? Obviously, Gruden drafting him is a big problem. Leatherwood not doing himself any favor, a big problem. Cable literally pounding the table for him, part of it. But how Ziegler and McDaniels handled him, it's part of the equation. And that's the only people that we can hold accountable right now, because no one else is there, right? Mayock's gone, Gruden's gone, Cable's gone. Like they don't care if he succeeds or fails. Like that doesn't affect their lives at all. It affects McDaniels and Mayock, or McDaniels and Ziegler's.
No, God, I hope not, Mayock.
Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of our video. If you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes next season and for Max Crosby to have 30 sacks, go ahead and subscribe and click the next video.